to 6, Lord, I 4 of 9. In the bottom line of that table, my Lord, there is reference sample WC 12/0032 of 2015. That is a reference sample of Teresa. If we page over to page 5 of 9 of Exhibit ZZ1, the reference sample there at the top is WC 12/0033/2015. That is Martin. The next reference sample is WC 12/0034/2015. We will refer to that as Rudy. Then the reference sample victim, and I also mentioned the bag number, namely PA50021877112. We would refer to that as Marley. And then the reference sample, Henry van Breda, is straightforward, so that we refer to that one as Henry. And this is a sample that was packaged in exhibit bag PA 40022091180. And then at this point, my Lord, I'm going to make the following then available to the court. My Lord, these are the profiles, like I've said, but I will take you through these profiles. I have 10 copies available, so I think there should be more than enough. 2 for the court, and the rest is more than enough for. And then, yeah. No, for the court. It's possible that there should be a copy available for the accused as well, my Lord, because I also have my copy. Thank you, my Lord. Just quickly, if we look at the profiles in front of us, what's on here, on the raw data, or what we refer to as an electropherogram, my Lord, this is the exact same thing that will be in my table with results. This is just a picture. It's just so much easier to understand what it's all about. And the way we read this profile, my Lord, we will basically start from top to bottom, from left to right, with the only exception being the gender marker, which will, in my table of results, will be in the first column. Here on the EPG, it will appear on my second line, or on this second line, far left. But otherwise, we just read it from top to bottom, from left to right. And then regarding Exhibit ZZ1, we'll start with my first report, my Lord, and then yes, we'll go on along. My Lord, Lord, as we had so many exhibits or samples, basically, to analyze, I had to find a way to make it just more easy for me to type up the affidavit. So what I did is in that first page, page 3 of 9 of exhibit ZZ1, I have a profile. It's obviously a single profile match, and then I would refer the court to a certain paragraph for all the different samples that actually have given us the same profile. Sorry, before I continue, my Lord, I'm very sorry that we have 4 reports before court. I know it's a little bit confusing, but because analysis was stretched out over a period of 5-6 months, obviously, this was now the effect of that. Okay, page 3 of 9, the table of results, and then I have a profile there, and then I also have the following. See paragraph 4.1.1 for sample. What I did for myself, my Lord, to make it easier, I wrote in Rudy. So all of these samples will have the profile of Rudy. And I'm going to read the profile as it is in the table into the record aloud. It's XY, it's a male person, and then it's a 1618, 1617, 2124, 1014, 3031.2, 1618, 1111, 1212, and 1012. And then, my Lord, I'm going to read to the court on page 5 of 9 the profiles on which we could actually obtain in the first set of analysis the single profile of reference sample Rudy. They are the following. The DNA result on swab, possible blood on knife, packaged in bag PA400212583, swab 86 headboard and swab 87 wall, packaged in PA400194656, swab 88 wall above headrest and swab 89 carpet, packaged in PA40019466052, swab 91 flooring room, PA40019466058, swab 92 spatter, wall, PA40019466054, swab 94 wall by stairs, PA40019466055, swab 98 blood spatter, PA40019494040, swab 99 blood and swab 110 blood spatter, PA40019494036, swab 111 blood spatter, PA40021300718, SOX 119, stains 3, 4, 5, 6, and 8, PA400127494, shorts 120, stains 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 8, 19, 25, 38, and 40, PA40012751139, duvet 138, stains 4, 5, 6, 9, and 12, PA40012751138, and duvet 139, stains 4 and 6, PA400127491 matches the DNA result of reference sample Rudy. And my Lord, if we can refer you to page 3. Page 3 of exhibit double Z5. That's the profile that we have obtained, or we would have obtained. Page 3, my lord, exhibit double Z5, the profiles. That is basically the profile that had been obtained. My lord, and you will notice throughout my affidavit, throughout all the matches that I've made and the mixture inclusions, I will always give what we refer to as a match probability, or as it's given here, a most conservative occurrence. Even though everybody is family members, this is the way we have to write and report. And that match probability is basically just an indication of how easy or difficult it's going to be to find another person in the South African population who will actually have the same, or will be able to donate the same DNA on the crime scene stains as we have analyzed them. And the value there, that will be in paragraph 4.1.2. The most conservative occurrence for the DNA result from these exhibits, as mentioned in paragraph 4.1.1, that can be calculated is 1 person in every 70 billion people. My lord, even at this point, I want to make it very, very clear that the match probability is a theoretical value. It's based by a calculation where we use allele frequencies that we will find in our national statistics database, and it is, in my opinion, just an indication. It's a theoretical value, that's it. If we go back, sorry my lord that I'm throwing the court all over, but I will refer you back and forth the whole time. Then if we go back to page 3 of 9 of exhibit double Z1, the second item in the table of results will be the following. See paragraph 4.1.3 for samples, and then there's a profile given, and then I have made a note for myself, Henry, and then I would also refer you, my lord, to page 5 of exhibit double Z5, where the reference sample of Henry, the profile is there in front of you. And I'm going to read the profile into court. The profile is XY, the person is male, and then the profile is 1718, 1617, 2024, 1015, 3133.2, 1516, 1111, 1212, and 1112. And once again, because this is a single profile, my lord, let's go to paragraph 4.1.3 on page 6 of 9 of exhibit ZZ1. And I'm going to read to the court. The DNA result from a cigarette butt 45, PA60020002527, cigarette butt 46, PA60020002528, cigarette butt 47, PA60020002529, socks 119, stains 14 and 17, PA400127494, matches the DNA result of reference sample Henry. And obviously, like I would do in every single case, the most conservative occurrence, that is the match probability for this particular DNA result, my lord, will be 1 person in every 261 billion people. It's statistically tenable. Yes, but now, my lord, remember now what I've said. 7 billion people, but remember, we don't have to. This is why I said it's a theoretical value, my lord, because firstly, We don't have to have everybody in the country's genotype or DNA profile on the database. We have to have at least 100 individuals of each population group. So they work on allele frequencies, and this is it's probability. So if you ask me whether it's scientific tenable, I will tell you it's statistically tenable.
As a probability.
Yes, ma'am. No, no. This is why I said, please let's, from the beginning, let's look at it as a theoretical value. My Lord, then if we go back to page 3 of 9 again of Exhibit ZZ1, to the third item in my table, see paragraph 4.1.5 for samples. This is the profile of Marley, single profile of Marley, and her profile we will find on page 4, according to a reference sample on page 4 of Exhibit ZZ5. And I'm going to read the profile into court, my Lord, and you're welcome to follow me on the EPG of the profile of her reference. It's XX because she is a female person. Then it's 1718, 1417, 2024, 1015, 3031.2, 1516, 1113, 1212, and 1112. And my Lord, if you remember that I've, in my evidence in chief, explained earlier that we are working here with a family. They're all related to one another, except Teresa and Martin. If you look at the profiles there underneath one another, from Rudy, Henry, and Marley, you can clearly see that there is a tendency of that the alleles are actually repeating one another. Although each profile is completely unique, we can clearly see that there is a relationship, just for interest sake. Then if we go to paragraph 4.1.5, on page 6 of 9 of Exhibit ZZ1, the DNA result from swabs blood spatter 105 and blood spatter 106, PA 40019499039 matches the DNA result of reference sample Marley. And once again, my Lord, the match probability for her profile would be 1 in every 35 billion people for interest sake. Proceed. My Lord, if we go back to page 3 of 9, to the second from the bottom item, namely, and then I've actually written there, see paragraph 4.1.7 for samples. These samples all have the profile of Teresa, reference sample Teresa. My Lord, and you will find her profile on page 1 of Exhibit ZZ5. And I'm going to read the profile to you. It's XX, she's also female. 1617, 1617, 2424, 1415, 3033.2, 1518, 1111, 1212, and 1012. And just for interest's sake, once again, because I love doing paternities and maternities, once again, should you check her profile to the 3 previous ones, you would see that at each and every place in the DNA, each and every locus or genetic marker, there is at least one allele exactly the same to all 3 of the children. That's what you would expect from a mother, biological mother. And my lord, if we go to paragraph 4.1.7, that will be on page 6 of 9. The DNA result from swab, passage, top floor 81, PA40019466060, and SOC 119, stain 11, PA400127494, matches the DNA result of reference sample, Teresa. And the probability for her, or that specific profile, will be 1 person in every 90 billion people. And then the bottom result there in that table of results, my lord, will be, see paragraph 4.1.9 for samples. That is the profile of reference Martin. My lord, and we will find an example of his profile on page 2 of exhibit ZZ5. And the profile is XY, he's a male, 1618, 1417, 2021, 1012, 31, 31.2, 1616, 1113, 1212, and 1112. Just on this point, maybe, my lord, you will notice if I can just use his profile as an example. You will see that I always refer to a profile, I always say 12, 12, 11, 11. We must always remember that any child inherits 50% from each parent. So obviously if those two 50% are exactly the same, there will only be one peak or one band in the DNA, but I will refer to it twice in my report. And then if we go to paragraph 4.1.9, the DNA result of shorts 120, stain 27, PA40012751139 matches the DNA result of reference sample Martin. And the most conservative match probability for that particular profile is 1 person in every 645 billion people. But also, if I do the same paternity test, basically, my lord, same thing. If you look at his profile and you compare it to the 3 children, namely Rudy, Henry, and Marley, there's a 50% that's exactly the same. So we can accept that these 2 parents were the biological parents of the three victims, namely Rudy, Henry, and Marley. Then, my lord, if I may, I am going to refer you, we start with our mixture results. My lord, a mixture result is extremely common in the forensic field. We don't deal with perfect samples. We deal with samples taken from clothing that had been worn before by another individual. We work with samples. In this case, we don't have semen samples, but we deal with samples that we could actually expect to get DNA from more than 1 person. And obviously, in this case, it was no exception. So I'm going to refer the court to paragraph 4.111, and that will be the profile on page 6 of exhibit ZZ5. My lord, it's also in my table. You have a choice. You can follow me in my table on page 4, but I prefer to work from the raw data because it's so much easier to understand. So I would suggest, my lord, that you just follow me on the raw data because it's exactly the same. So it's page 6. Page My Lord, the profile there at the top, I've written in. I'll read it to you in case you don't necessarily understand my writing. Nail scrapings, left hand, Henry. This is our first mixture result. And the result is as follows. It's XY. It's male DNA. And then from the top, I'm going to read it to the court. 16, 17, 18. 16, 17. 20, 21, 24. The second line will be 10, 14, 15. 30, 31, 31.2, 33.2. 15, 16, 18. And the bottom line will be 11, 11, 12, 12, and 10, 11, 12. And then my interpretation on 4.111 will be the DNA result from reference samples Teresa, Rudy, and Henry can be read into the mixture DNA result from the nail scrapings, left hand, Henry. We must remember that because the nail scrapings were taken from the person Henry, we would expect to find his DNA there, but now it's a mixture, so we must also remember that 2 additional people's profiles can be read in there, namely Teresa and Rudy. And just like in the case of a single profile, we also have to give the match probability for probability of actually reading any other person also into this profile completely. And that is in paragraph 4.1.2. The most conservative occurrence or the match probability for this mixed DNA result for all the possible permutations and or genotype combinations that can be calculated. I could also have said for all the possible contributors to this mixture, my Lord, can be calculated, is one person in every 709,000 people. That is that mixture result. Then the next one on page 7, that will be paragraph 4.1.13. The mixture profile on page 7, my Lord, you must please stop me if I go too fast. Okay. On page 7, I've written there at the top, it's blood, bottom of axe handle. So obviously it was a swab, blood swab removed from the bottom of the axe handle. And this is also a mixture result. XY, there's male DNA present, and then from the top, it's 16, 17, 18, 14, 16, 17, 20, 21, 24. The second line will be 10, 12, 15, 30, 31, 31.2, 33.2, 15, 16, and the bottom line is 11, 11, 12, 12, 10, 11, 12. And then paragraph 4.1.13, my interpretation would be the DNA result of reference sample Henry can be read into the mixture DNA result on that particular swab, namely blood from bottom of axe handle, and that was packaged in PA 40021267775. Please take note, my Lord, there is additional DNA there, but it's not enough for me to completely read in any other person. According to our rules, if I have a mixture result, I can only include somebody in a mixture result if he's present there at all the possible 10 areas in the DNA molecule. So there is lots of DNA there, but I'm only able to read in the reference of Henry completely. And then I give the match probability for that particular mixture as well, and that's one person in every 741,000 people for what it's worth. Then, my lord, if we turn over to page 7 of 9 of my exhibit double Z1, and we look at page 8. This is another swab, namely blood from the head of X. And I'm going to read you to the court. First, obviously, it's a mixture result. There is both X and Y, so it's possible that there's both male and female DNA in there. And then the mixture from the top is 16, 17, 18, 16, 17, 21, 24. Second line is 10, 14, 15, 30, 31.2, 33.2, 15, 16, 18. Bottom line is 11, 11, 12, 12, and 10, 12. And then my interpretation. The DNA result of reference samples Teresa and Rudy can be read into this mixture DNA result. And obviously, once again, the match probability for this particular mixture will be 1 person in every 5.6 million people. My lord, I don't know whether you've noticed, I've also, maybe to make it simple, to simplify the matter, I've also written the donors of that mixture at the bottom, very, very simply. The next one is on page 9 of exhibit double Z5. It's a touch DNA from an X on stage. That is the way that it's marked. And I'm going to read the mixture profile into court. Just for interest's sake, my lord, I sometimes see things and I just want to show it to the court as well. When we look at this particular swab or mixture result, we'll clearly see that the X is quite higher than the Y. So the only reason why I'm actually indicating this to the court is in this particular mixture, there are 2 female profiles and a male profile. So I'm going to read the mixture into court. It's XY, but the X is much higher than the Y, so we can expect to get female DNA there. And then from the top, 16, 17, 18, 14, 16, 17, 20, 21, 24. The second line will be 10, 14, 15, 30, 31.2, 33.2, 15, 16, 18, and the bottom line will be 11, 13, 12, 12, and 10, 11, 12. And the interpretation, namely paragraph 4.1.17, the DNA result of reference samples Marley, Teresa, and Rudy can be read into this mixture DNA result on the swab touch DNA on X on stage. And this will explain, my lord, why that X peak is so high, because we have basically the sources there were two female persons and 1 male person donating DNA. And the match probability for that mixture will be 1 person in every 240,000 people. Then if we turn over, my lord, to page 10, this swab, all of these exhibits were swabs, my lord. At the top, I've written there, it's a swab, okay. but it contained blood. And then corner of shower floor. And it's once again a mixture DNA result. And then obviously the XY peaks are more equal in height, so I would surmise that there could be female DNA present, but it's equal in height, so maybe more male. And then from the top, it's 16, 17, 18, 16, 17, 20, 21, 24. Second line is 10, 14, 15, 30, 31, 31.2, 33.2, 15, 16, 18. And the bottom line is 11, 11, 12, 12, 10, 11, 12. And the interpretation is on page 7, and it's in paragraph 4.1.19. The DNA result of reference samples, Rudy, Teresa, and Henry, so there's only one female person contributing, can be read into the mixture DNA result on the swab, corner of floor of shower, and then the match probability for this mixture would be one person in every 429,000 people. Just for interest's sake, once again, my lord, you will see as we go through all these results, the combination of alleles, the combination of DNA that we find throughout all of my affidavits is just a different mixture of the same contributors. The 5 references that I've received, and it's different variations of the same DNA, basically. Then, my lord, if we page over to page 11 of Exhibit ZZ5, it's a swab with touch DNA, handle of knife, and the profile there is XY, it's mostly male DNA. And from the top, it's 16, 18, 16, 17, 20, 21, 24, 10, 14, 30, 31.2, 16, 18, and the bottom line is 11, 11, 12, 12, and 10, 11, 12. And the only fully DNA result that can be read into that mixture result is that of reference sample Rudy. And the match probability for this mixture is one person in every 38 million people. My lord, the next page is page 12. And the exhibit that we refer to there is fingernail swabbing, the right hand. And then I made a note that it was taken from Martin. And it's a mixture profile. And the profile is as follows. It's XY, it's mainly male DNA. And then from the top, 16, 18, 14, 16, 17, 20, 21, 24. The second line will be 10, 14, 30, 31, 31.2, 16, 18, and the bottom line 11, 11, 12, 12, 10, 11, 12. And I nearly made a mistake, but fortunately I picked up on it. You would see at the bottom there, my lord, I actually scratched out. When I drew up the EPGs for purposes of coming to court, I thought it's Martin as well because it was his nail scrapings, but no. His profile cannot be read in there. The only profile that we can really read into that mixture completely is that of Rudy.
Martin is there.
This is why I scratched it out. You'll see our initial next to it. So Martin cannot be read in there. No. It's nail scrapings taken from Martin, but it's only Rudy who can be read in there. So please make sure, my lord, that on your copy it is scratched out and I did initial next to it.
You just said it clear, so bottom one should be Rudy, and the top is Mr. Martin, that's it.
Yes, that's because it's an outspoken statement from Mark.
So what else is this?
But fortunately in my affidavit, as I say, it is correct where I've stated the DNA result of reference sample Rudy can be read into the mixture DNA result on fingernail swabbings from Martin. And the match probability for this mixture is 1 person in every 14 million. The next one, next mixture is blood spatter 96. My lord, once again, this is a mixture result, and I'm going to read this to the court. It's XY. It's male. And then from the top, it's 16, 18, 14, 16, 17, 20, 21, 24. The second line, 10, 12, 14, 30, 31, 31.2, 16, 18, and the bottom line, 11, 13, 12, 12, 10, 11, 12. And then the interpretation, the DNA result of reference samples Martin and Rudy can be read into this mixture DNA result on blood spatter 96. And the match probability for this mixture, my lord, will be 1 person in every 2 million people. And that's it for affidavit ZZ1. Then, my lord, if I may refer you to exhibit ZZ2. This is the one dated 29 May. And my lord, I'm going to direct you straight to page 3 of 6, where the results will be. Are you with me, my lord? Are you? And my lord, just like in the previous affidavits, or what I've mentioned is, once again, the layout of the table is exactly the same. I refer to all the single profiles first, and then I go over to the mixture results, which might be more intricate, and this is why I brought the EPGs with me. So, once again, the layout is the same. See paragraph 4.1 for samples, and that would be the profile of Rudy. And once again, an example of Rudy's profile would be on page 3 of exhibit ZZ5. And I'm going to read it to the court again. It's XY, 1618, 1617, 2124, second line 1014, 3031.2, 1618, and the bottom line is 1111, 1212, 1012. And the exhibits on which for this analysis, the single profile was obtained are the following. The DNA result on SOX 119, stain 2, 13, 15, and 16. My lord, is it okay if I skip the exhibit bag numbers? No. Okay, thank you. Swab 85, blood on door, room 1. Swab 90, blood on floor in room. Swabs 33 and 34, floor in bathroom in room 1. Shorts 120, stains 7, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 21, 28, 29, 30, 32, 33, 35, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 54, 55, and 75. Is the profile of Rudy. The match probability is the same. I'm not going to repeat that either. My Lord, then, I'm going to refer you back to page 3 of 6 of Exhibit ZZ2. The second item in the table of results, where I've mentioned, see paragraph 4.1.3 for samples, that will be where the single profile of reference Martin was picked up. And his profile, the raw data, would be on page 2 of Exhibit ZZ5. And I'm going to read it into the record. It's XY, it's male. Then it's 1618, 1417, 2021. The second line will be 1012, 31, 31.2, 1616. The bottom line 1113, 1212, and 1112. And the single profile of reference Martin was found on the following. That will be in paragraph 4.1.3. The DNA result on socks 119, stain 10. Shorts 120, stain 17, 31, 37, and 41. That matches basically the DNA of reference sample Martin. And as I said, I'm not going to repeat the match probability. My Lord, the third item in my table of results on page 3 of 6, see paragraph 4.1.5 for samples. That will be the single profile of Teresa. And she will be on page 1 of Exhibit ZZ5. I'm going to read the profile. It's XX, female. And then from the top, 1617, 1617, 24, 24. Second line, 14, 15, 30, 33.2, 15, 18. And bottom line, 11, 11, 12, 12, and 10, 12. And that will be paragraph 4.1.5, those exhibits where we picked up her single profile. The DNA result on swab 77, passage top floor, and swabs 101 and 102, blood spatter, matches the DNA result of reference sample Teresa. And then the following one is see paragraph 4.1.7 for samples, and I've marked it for myself, Marley. And Marley's profile is on page 4 of ZZ5. And the profile is XX, because she's a female person. And it's 1718, 1417, 2024, the second line, 1015, 30, 31.2, 15, 16, and the bottom line, 11, 13, 12, 12, and 11, 12. And the exhibits, my Lord, where we could pick up her single profile, we refer to in paragraph 4.1.7. The DNA result on swabs 82 and 83, passage top floor, and swab 84, top floor in passage, matches the DNA result of reference Marley. And then the last item there, before we go over to the mixture results, is see paragraph 4.1.9 for samples. It's a single profile that matches Henry. And Henry's profile is on page 5 of Exhibit ZZ5. And his profile is XY 1718, 1617, 2024, 1015, 3133.2, 1516, 1111, 1212, 1112. And his profile were found on the following exhibits. The DNA result on shorts 120, stains 53, 62, 63, 64, 68, 72, 77, and 79, 72, 76, 77, and 79. Matches the DNA result of Henry. Okay. Then we go back to the mixtures. My lord, the mixture results, just like in the previous affidavit. And I refer the court to page 14 of Exhibit ZZ5. And paragraph 4.1.11 of Exhibit ZZ2. No, let me first give the mixture. It's a mixture result, my lord, and then from the top, it's 16, 17, 18, 16, 17, 20, 21, 24, the second line, 10, 14, 15, 30, 31, 33.2, 15, 16, and the bottom line is 11, 11, 12, 12, 11, 12. And then my interpretation, excuse me. The DNA result of reference sample Henry can be read into the mixture DNA result on shorts 120, stain 23. And the match probability for this mixture is 1 person in every 5 million people. The next exhibit would be shorts. That will be on page 15 of Exhibit ZZ5. Will be shorts, stain 34. And the profile is as follows. XY, and then it is 16, 17, 18, 16, 17, 21, 24, 10, 14, 15, 30, 31.2, 33.2, 15, 16, 18, and the bottom line 11, 11, 12, 12, and 10, 12. And the interpretation would be the following. Both the DNA results of reference samples Teresa and Rudy can be read into this mixture stain on shorts 120, stain 34. The match probability for this particular stain will be 1 person in every 5.6 million people. And then the last result for this particular affidavit, my lord, will be on page 16 of Exhibit ZZ5, namely shorts, stain 69. And the mixture result is as follows. It's XY, and then from the top 16, 17, 18, 16, 17, 20, 21, 24. The second line will be 10, 14, 15, 30, 31, 31.2, 33.2, 15, 16, 18, and the bottom line will be 11, 11, 12, 12, and 10, 11, 12. And the interpretation is as follows. The DNA results of reference samples Henry, Teresa, and Rudy can be read into this mixture DNA result on that particular stain. And the match probability for that particular stain is 1 person in every 709,000 people. That brings us to my third affidavit, my lord, namely ZZ3, Exhibit ZZ3. My lord, once again, I start. That's correct. My Lord, and once again, if we look at the table and the way I've set out my results, once again, we start with single profile and then we move over to the mixture results. And then once again, I've written there, see paragraph 4.1.1 for samples, which is Rudy's profile. And Rudy's profile, just to refresh the memory, is on page 3 of Exhibit ZZ5. And his profile is XY. And from the top, 1618, 1617, 2124, 1014, 3031.2, 1618, and the bottom line 1111, 12, 12, 10, 12. And for this analysis, the third set of analysis that was done, these are the results. On paragraph 4.1.1, my Lord, the DNA result on duvet cover 138 stains D1, D2, D3, D4, D5, D6, D7, D8, D9, D10, D11, D12 with the 1 in brackets, D12, 2 in brackets, and D12 with the 3 in brackets, as well as duvet cover 139 stains C1, 2 in brackets, C1, 3 in brackets, C2, 1 in brackets, C2, 2 in brackets, C2, 3 in brackets, C3, 1 in brackets, C3, 2 in brackets, and C4, 1 in brackets, and C4, 2 in brackets, matches the DNA result of reference sample Rudy. And most of the stains, basically, I think, on the duvet covers. And then the mixture result, my Lord, in that table will be the duvet cover 139, stain C1, 1 in brackets, and that will be on page 17 of Exhibit ZZ5. And the mixture is as follows. It's XY, it's male DNA. From the top, 1618, 14, 16, 17, 20, 21, 24, the second line, 10, 12, 14, 30, 31, 31.2, 16, 18, and the bottom line, 11, 13, 12, 12, and 10, 11, 12. And my Lord, the DNA results of both reference samples, Rudy and Martin, can be read into this mixture result on the duvet cover. 139, stain C1, 1 in brackets. And the match probability for this duvet cover stain or mixture is 1 person in every 2 million people. Then, my Lord, the final and last affidavit, the one dated 2 December 2015, only deals with, no, I thought it was only X swabs, but no, there are more exhibits there as well. But it's mainly X. Once again, my Lord, if we look at the table, we'll see that I start out with a single profile. The single profile of Rudy. And the single profile of Rudy is present on swabs 6A, 6C, 6D, and 6G, and these swabs are taken from the X. Then, if we look at the second item in that table of results, namely the X swab 6F, it's a mixture, and the mixture result would be on page 18 of Exhibit ZZ5. And the mixture result is as follows, my lord. It's XY, it's male. And then from the top, it's 16, 17, 18, 14, 16, 17, 20, 21, 24. The second line will be 10, 12, 14, 15, 30, 31, 31.2, 16, 18, and the bottom line will be 11, 13, 12, 12, 10, 11, 12. And both the references of Rudy and Martin can be read into this mixture DNA result on that particular swab, 6F. And the match probability for this mixture result, my lord, will be 1 person in every 408,000 people. Then swab 6H, also taken from that X, is on page 19 of exhibits ZZ5. And that mixture result is as follows. It's XY, so there's definitely male DNA present. And then from the top, 16, 17, 18, 16, 17, 21, 24. The second line is 10, 14, 15, 30, 31.2, 33.2, 15, 16, 18, and the bottom line is 11, 11, 12, 12, and 10, 12. And both the reference samples of Rudy and Teresa can be read into the mixture DNA result on this particular swab, 6H. And then lastly, in the last item, I also made mention of stains that were analyzed from the shorts, and the single profile of reference sample Henry could be detected there. And I'm going to read to the court. The DNA result on shorts, the shorts is shorts 120. I maybe didn't mention there, but it's shorts, the exhibit number there is 120. Stains 82, 84, 85, 87, and 90 matches the DNA result of reference sample Henry. My lord, and that is the end of my 4 affidavits, and the DNA results in there.
May I request that we adjourn it? I just want to make sure that I don't repeat aspects that she's already testified. I forgot it's 3 o'clock. The 3 o'clock in March. I'm in the court's hands, my lord.
We have placed on record on the chambers during the lead up to this matter that we are experiencing, we need to utilize court hours as far as possible.
Let's see what happens. There is a problem.
Look, maybe it might be an opportune moment for me to perhaps mention the possibility that if we do still require the time, in light of the fact that Wednesday is a public holiday, that we might be able to sit on Friday, if it is just to finalize this witness. It may not be necessary, but if it goes, if I can ask your lordship just perhaps to consider that in the meeting.
We'll definitely do that.
Thank you.
Let's see.